Hi everyone. Hi everyone. So, as you can see on my t-shirt, I think that pretty much says it all. But obviously मुझे सबको बोलना तो पड़ेगा ना एक बार. In this year, April, I am leaving for Mount Everest. The first week of April, I am leaving for Everest. It still feels amazing to have that feeling. So recently I just came back from Ladakh. I was there for like around 14 days, and it was specifically for my training, like the last phase of my training for Everest, rebrushing technical skills and learning some new techniques of jumaring and rappelling, and just training at 4,000 meters. So I just came back like 2 days back. Yeah, I'm still in disbelief that yes, I'm going. To put it out to everyone, I have been a climber for the past 5 years. Along with that, I was always also into acting and dance. But currently, from last 1 year, my main focus has been just to climb as many peaks as I can and to go for Everest, because I completed my graduation last year and then I had some really good free time on my hands. I'm not really going to go deep into the life story and how did I get into mountaineering and all. There are actually two podcasts. दोनों के link मैं I'll put it in the description below. So आप लोग वहाँ जाके you can see my whole mountaineering, acting and dance journey. But this video is not about that. So I'll get into the main thing. Since childhood I always thought कि लाइफ में ये बनना है वो बनना है, बट नेवर in my life I thought that I will come to a stage where I'll be literally training and prepping for a peak called Mount Everest. It still sounds so overwhelming to me at this point. 5 years back, when I was just 17 years old, somewhere in my phone notes or whiteboard उस पे बस लिख दिया था कि I'll be going to Everest in 2026. Okay, I am not here to tell you कि how to manifest things or how to make your dreams come true, but I'll be surely telling you that कि how unknowingly things did happen for me in the timeline I had set for myself. Now, as I told back like 5 years back, how it happened, like as I told कि मैंने phone के notes में कहीं लिख दिया था. Yeah, I was like, okay, 5 years है, it's a lot of time. 2 years ahead, okay, I had already started trekking and climbing and going for my treks and expeditions, and I really had 2, 3 failures in those 2 years, not being able to summit peaks. And that's when I realized how difficult Mount Everest will be. And that time I was pretty shook कि सानिका ये छोटे mountains नहीं हो रहे. Everest literally in 3 years. How are you going to, or how am I planning to do it? Because at the same time, my college was also going on with my acting and dancing. And नहीं मिल रहा था time for my training. But still उतने सब years में I had a lot of I used to look up online for these t-shirts जिस पे Everest लिखा हुआ हो. और my mom dad they went to Everest base camp and वो लोग उधर से मेरे लिए पहली बार Everest का t-shirt लेके आए थे. 2, 3 t-shirts. एंड उसके बाद मैं भी नेपाल गई थी ट्रैक के लिए. मैं भी एवरेस्ट लिखा हुआ सब सामान लेके आती थी, because I had fallen in love with just the word Everest, and I'm like, Everest करना तो है ही, but still back then I wasn't sure कि ये 2026 में ही होगा. See, even right now, as you can see, I'm wearing Everest t-shirt. This was when I went last year for my Himlung expedition. It's a 7,000 meter peak in Nepal. So that time also it wasn't really confirmed that I'll be going to Everest this year. But still मैं ये लेके आ गई. And as I'm saying that, how things manifested for me was, so when I used to go for my college, like, since I had these, Everest wale t-shirts, that was kind of my brand logo kind of thing, कि सब जगह वही पहन के जाने का, कि people know कि oh, I'm a climber, I want to go for Everest, and people in my college and everywhere always knew कि मुझे Everest पे जाना है. But as years pass by, you realize कि Everest को उतना time नहीं है. I had already spent 3 years and I'm like, सिर्फ 2 साल बाकी है. And whenever I've missed out on a training session, and even after in these 5 years, there have been major peaks जो मैं summit नहीं कर पाई थी, and I was like, 6,000 मीटर का माउंटेन नहीं हो रहा है क्लाइम, हाउ एम आई इवन प्लानिंग टू गो फॉर 8,000 मीटर. बट येस, as I would say, things really worked out for me. Even like अभी एक सामने मेरे white board है, उधर I had written last year April to May 2026 Mount Everest. Right now, okay, the bracelet that I'm wearing literally has the coordinates of Everest. Like, it really depends कि तुम लोग क्या कर रहे हो to go to that dream. So one of the major things that I do before every expedition, this was just kind of a training back then when I very first, बहुत सबसे पहले गई थी उधर. My mom always used to go to this mandir called Siddhivinayak. It's 26 kilometers from my home to that mandir. And she was going one day, and I was like, can I also join? And I just saw it as my training कि oh, Sunday अच्छा खासा 26 kilometers हो जाएगा. But eventually it kind of became a ritual for me to go there before every expedition, walking from my home itself and praying, and it kind of built that superstition in me. I'm not really a superstitious person, but it still believed, मुझे वो belief आ गया कि if मैं चल के जाऊँगी, all my summits will be successful, and it happened for a really long time. There were two peaks जहाँ मैंने थोड़ा shortcut लिया था. One, I had just come back from an expedition, and within 3 weeks I was going again for another one. And I wasn't really in the mood कि घर से वापस 26 kilometers चल के जाओ. Training wasn't a problem, but मुंबई के रास्तों पे चलना, it's a hassle. Okay, so मैं direct train से गई, and we just went till the mandir from the station. So it was hardly 2 kilometers, and that summit didn't happen. We were literally stuck at camp 1 because there was snowstorm, so we didn't even get to attempt the summit. So that was one incident. Second incident was when I went for the highest mountain in South America, Aconcagua, and I think the summit wouldn't be more than 4 or 5 kilometers total. Okay, and just before I went for that expedition, again I went to Siddhivinayak, and I told my mom that let's do a proper half marathon distance, 21 kilometers. So I literally skipped 4 to 5 kilometers from my home. We directly took a rickshaw जहाँ से 21 चालू हो रहा था. And guess what? On that summit day, I hardly, must have gone up 500 meters of distance. And yes, I eventually had to turn back because नहीं हो रहा था मेरे summit. And that's when I understood that no, before every expedition, I need to follow this thing on pair पे ही जाना है from my home itself to that mandir and praying to Lord Ganesha. So this was one thing. Then I'll show you some things where I literally manifested my Everest. I have a mat in my room which has literally written Everest 8848, and it has that beautiful structure of Everest जो दिखता है from Nepal side. As you can see even here, this whole thing I made by myself, the collage of Mount Everest, submitting it in 2026. And there are literally still so many screenshots and things added in my favorites in the gallery, some songs which I used to relate to Everest. And like I'm just going back in the flashback of last 5 years. Every single day I used to wake up, I used to think which peak am I going to do next. for me, in order to reach till my Sagarmatha. For people who don't know what Sagarmatha, it's the Nepalese name for Everest. Like, dreaming about things which you really want to do, it does make a path for itself. वो खुद से नहीं होने वाला. Like, you need to nurture it, respect it, give all of that love to it. तब जाके, things which you really want, even right now, must be thinking कि मुझे ये लाइफ में ये करना, but are you taking a step towards it? If नहीं कर रहे हो, then things are not going to open by itself for you. And one thing, before my Ladakh training, I and my coach, Parth sir, we were just having a discussion about, Everest. And he told me, make Everest your pilgrimage. So, pilgrimage, as we know, it's, a devotional journey you take up to a sacred place. And I think Everest for me has also been that sacred place. Like, I wouldn't even let anyone in my circle, if I know that mountains were not important to them, और उन्होंने मुझे कभी कुछ बोल दिया हो वैसा कि क्यों mountain climb कर रहे हो, or something like that. Because I just didn't want to be with that belief in what I was putting in so much passion and love, and someone जिसका belief मेरे से connect नहीं हो रहा है. So I just wouldn't even talk about my mountains ever to them, because for me, from the start, Everest, itni uske movies and documentaries, and read so much about it, that I made it my place where I wanted to be in 2026. And I think keeping my focus right way, it is happening for me now. So Everest is literally my pilgrimage, because I didn't rush for it. I knew that I had to go step by step. First ever year when I started trekking, I was just trekking in the these Sahyadri ranges of the Western Ghats जो हमारे मुंबई में है. Second year I went for my first trek, first Himalayan trek, 12,000 feet, then to 14,000 feet. The next year, 15,000 feet and 19,000 feet. That was Kilimanjaro in that year, and Pangarshila. And then that year, I think I went for Annapurna base camp, just for a relaxation trek. The next year, did Elbrus, touched from 18,000 to 20,000 feet. Next year, which was yes, I think the fourth or the fifth year, I I was just about to touch 6,000, but वो हुआ नहीं था. But yes, last year I have been on three peaks where I touched 6,000 meter, and then last year in October I did a 7,000 meter mountain. So that's how I went slow in my journey, progressed every single day, even with my training. Not rushing it is the key. Like, in the morning you just can't wake up that in the next 3-4 months I'm going to climb a 7,000 meter. If your body has never climbed a technical peak, or never even been to the altitude of 5,000 meter, do you think you will be ready for 7,000? It's not possible, because it's like, in the school you are learning numbers, you're learning alphabets, so you are learning A B C D 1 2 3 4. But before that, you directly want to jump into addition and subtraction, and in making sentences and making this vocabulary words and learning it. Is it going to be possible? No, it's obviously going to be very, very hard. So unless you learn the basics, reaching till that level, it's going to take time. And respect the mountains in a way where you're understanding them. Give them time to understand you, how a climber you are. And it same goes for you. Like, jitne mountains चढ़ोगे उससे you will realize what is your capability and ability on the mountain, what you need to work on more, and कि कौन से aspects पे काम करने की ज़रूरत है. It has taught me patience, at least in the mountains. As of now, in the city, I think I'm still trying to learn the patience part of me. But when I'm on the mountains, that is a version of myself that I have met, which is the true me. And I don't think that version exists here in the city, or with my friends or family, anyone. And I think mountains do that to you. So, to sum this video up, a major announcement was that I am going to Everest this year in April first week. I'll be leaving from Mumbai and I'll be back by end of May or first week of June, depending kab summit hota hai. I just hope that I go with all the love and prayers this world and everyone around me has to offer me. So, and obviously I'll take your blessings and wishes with me to the top of that mountain. So thank you so much, and I'm really hoping that I make it to this dream peak, my goal. And as always, just I hope everyone's good wishes are with me, Lord Ganesha's, my family, my sister, and my friends. So, hoping to see you soon. There are 45 days exactly before I leave for Everest. So, thank you so much for watching, and I'll be making some more Everest content soon. So, stay tuned for that.